Why have you got two? Why have you got the flap open and the monitor on?
Because that's set for focus track.
Oh, right, okay, I was well confused then. So yeah, Lee, can you just explain what happened there? I started talking to the camera and said, oh, hello there, and Lee actually looked behind to see who was behind. He thought I was talking to someone else. Anyway, this morning's not gone to plan. We had a Volvo, as you can see, lovely T5 Volvo behind us, which is on the same platform as the Focus, land this morning. Unfortunately, the customer pulled the handbrake on way too much, with that hand obviously, not with this hand, and it got stuck on the recovery truck, so we had to loosen it off and get it off the recovery for him. That put us about an hour behind by the time he'd got here late, and then worked out that his handbrake was stuck. So we are a little bit behind with filming. The phone's ringing in the background as well, as usual. But I thought it'd be a great opportunity to show that the block mod isn't only for a Focus. Now, there's a couple of variants of the Volvo. Some have got the same setup entirely, i.e. the same auxiliary belts, which this particular vehicle has, and some of them which have got a different belt for the auxiliaries, but the rest of it's the same. So, if you've got a Volvo, make sure that you check out our block mod and RS clutch package, which is what this car is having, online at store.speedyperformance.co.uk, and remember that we can cater for all your Volvos. Now we're going to show you just a little bit of this. I know that you've seen, all will have seen the block mod and RS clutch before, but we just thought we'd show you some of the kind of similarities, I suppose is what we should call it, between this actual platform. It's pretty much almost the same. So yeah, keep watching, stay tuned, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do so. If you haven't hit that bell icon to stay notified of new content, then do that as well. Comment and like below. If you've got any questions, let us know and we'll do our best to get back to you. It's cold out here. Come on. So we've done a few bits with a few of the lads off the Volvo forums, mainly as a result of doing Alex Evington's car, and there's a couple of other lads that we have done engine builds for over the years. The likes of Jack Chandler. If you're a Volvo guy, you will know Alex and Jack. They were quite active on the forums. This particular setup here has got a set of BC Racing coilovers. It's got a few other tasty bits on it. Doesn't look like, has it got a front mounted intercooler on that, Al, or is it standard? It looks standard, doesn't it? Oh no, it's not. No, it's an upgraded one. Is it white one? Yeah, a DO2 or DO8. So there's quite a few bits that are similar, but quite a few bits that are dissimilar. So you can fit induction kits to these, but they don't generally fit AirTech intercoolers to them. They fit the DO8 kit, I think, I do believe it's called. And obviously you had the Elevate bits that were quite popular for these particular derivatives way back when. That's what Alex had and a few of the other guys. Now this particular car, although I mean many of you will consider it to be more of an older guy's car, I actually really like the setup of this car in comparison to a Focus ST. Now I know many of you are going to shoot me, but Alex's car that you will have seen on the channel before, and a few of the other guys have reviewed, I think GCM reviewed it, that car's amazing. It's so comfortable, and it's so different inside. I don't know what it is about it. We'll take a look inside once this car's a bit further down so that we can get the door open. But yeah, it's a really cool car inside, and I really like it. It's really weird because it's such a similar platform to the Focus, but it drives so nicely in comparison. They're so smooth, so quiet. I mean, not in the case of Alex, because his is really noisy, in fairness. But Al's just on with the block mod now. He's got the vehicle up in the air. We've noticed quite a few oil leaks, so we're going to chat to the customer about that. Yeah, a lot of oil. By the looks of it, a lot of oil. We'll have to draw the customer's attention to that. He did say that he's got a few issues with the remap that are on it, and did want us to look at that, but it, in fairness, looks like we've got a few more other issues to deal with over the course of the next day or so. So we'll get on with that. We'll get this gearbox out first, is it, Al? Gearbox out first, and then we'll get we'll get most of the way through that and then start the block mod, but we'll come back to you shortly and give you a bit of a tour around this Volvo. It's just interesting to see, and I know that a lot of you will hate it, but some of you will really like it, and you know, at the end of the day, it makes us unique, or it makes all of us individual, so we might as well show it. Stay tuned and we'll come back to you soon. So it's been about an hour and 10 minutes now or something on it, roughly, since we got it inside and on the ramp. So now we're taking, or almost ready to take the gearbox out. We actually leave the wishbones in place. You will have seen, if you haven't checked out some of the other videos, then then we leave the wishbones in place. We don't drop the subframe at all. We can sneak the gearbox out past.
No one's got time for that.
I know, yeah. Nobody's got time to take that out. Plus it means that you don't have to do any alignment. So the easiest way of doing this is just experience, really, more than anything. Ben and I normally take the gearboxes out together just because it's the way we've always done it and we seem to work quite well together. It's fairly simple if you know how to get the gearbox past the actual subframe and the wishbone. It just drops on the floor and you can get it sorted. So Ben and I are going to take this out now, get it on the floor. Al's going to put the clutch in, get the gearbox back in, get some of the bottom end done, most of the bottom end done, and then we will start doing the block mod. But we're going to get on with this because we're running short on time, and as I said before, the customer's got a load of oil leaks to deal with, so we'll join you in a minute. Maybe Lee'll film this, who knows. Okay, so sometimes people will ask, how do you know when a clutch is done? Now in this instance, you can tell it's done for really, well, quite a few obvious reasons that I wouldn't even have to tell you about, but this one's done because the concentric slave itself has exploded, but also something more kind of, I don't know, sinister and unusual, in as much as we've had to lever the plate away from the flywheel itself, and the friction plate itself is still stuck to the basket or the pressure plate itself. Now you can see from the edge there where we've had to lever it off the flywheel. Now that's quite odd because the clutch itself, or the friction plate itself, has actually still got some material left on it. So what's quite happened to this, we do not know. On this occasion, it's not something we really need to investigate, but I mean, we might reveal some heat marks. Do you know what? Look at that. Do you know what? Wow. If you can see from this, you can see that has obviously been stuck, because one side of that plate is completely annihilated and the other side, the flip side, still got material left on it. What has happened? There's no real evidence of like heat that's got into this side. Something's got onto that plate and just destroyed that one plate, like eating it.
The concentric, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's been squirting onto it and actually deteriorated one side. So on this occasion, realistically, with the amount of material that's left on that side, you probably could have got away with changing if you'd have caught it in time, could have got away with changing the slave cylinder and probably go in again, because there's quite a lot of meat left on that side, isn't there? And there probably would have been on the other side before it got kind of welded on. So, yeah. Yeah, maybe not. We'll chuck that in the bin, or give it back to the customer, because it's not an exchange one, it's an LUK one he's having, and we'll get the new slave cylinder fitted. We've cleaned the inside of the box. I think he's going to need a bit more gearbox oil, or a fresh set of gearbox oil in this, definitely. We put some new flywheel bolts in as well. The leaks that are coming from the engine, it doesn't appear like the output seal on this side's leaking as we first thought. We've cleaned it up and checked it, so we're going to get on with getting this flywheel back on, get this box back in. We've cleaned up the outside of the gearbox somewhat because it was so flipping coated. We'll just check these output seals, make sure they're not leaking, and change them if necessary, get the box back in and get on to the top end of this Volvo. But we'll probably come back a bit later on and discuss some of the leaks that are on it if we can find them. Who knows? We have informed the customer. Apparently he wants us just to assess anything that's inside and not do anything about the other external leaks, which is disappointing, but it's his car at the end of the day. So we'll come back to you shortly. Cheers, guys. Basically, we booked a hotel for this guy because it's essential work. The car arrived not working. He brought it up on his own recovery truck. He had no other option. I mean, okay, maybe he could have stopped somewhere in between, but this is specialist work. It's really disappointing, in fairness. What makes this work less essential than a guy coming and staying at the hotel and building a new block of houses or building a petrol station? Now, I understand there's like fors and against about that, but it's just dead frustrating. They accepted the confirmation. Anyway, we'll try and get this done just in case we don't have the kind of good grace of him being able to stay. But it's not cracked, it's still got a lot of leaks, it still needs a lot of work that probably is going to have to be done elsewhere anyway. The clutch is in, weird problem with that. It's got one of those elevate inlet plenums that I was talking about before. Well, the plenum is, yeah.
Oh yeah, the plenum, sorry.
Yeah, and is that DO8?
No.
Oh no, that's a new snap performance parts. What's the crossover on it? It's another one, another crinkle cut. Maybe that's a new one. It's quite smart. It's quite smart. I'm sure Leo'll show you in the cutaways. But Al's just cleaning the face with. Now I know you might just think this is a scraper, but it's not. It's a specific tool that doesn't cause any damage to the face of the block at all. So it's a specific material. We also use a specific, so you can see the tip of it there, that's designed for doing this job. It's designed for doing that job, mate. Anyway, that's what he's using.
Very nice and expensive.
Yeah, nice. Well, they're not actually. They're not that unreally expensive actually. So we've got that, and we've got a specific tool for installing the shims now as well, which has got a design for whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get this head back on. Let's hopefully, yeah, this is a good example actually of an oil filter housing that's been leaking for a long time. That has been leaking for a long time. You can see just how much build-up of crap there is on there and all over the engine and everything, so it's obviously got leaks elsewhere. Those really do need addressing, but I'm going to ask Ben if he can jump on this with Al or whatever, so that we can try and get this done, so that we can get the customer from here, just in case the fact is that he can't stay. If he can't stay, we're trying to resolve it at the minute, but anyway, we'll join you shortly.
Plenty of room in his recovery truck.
There is plenty of room in his recovery truck. I'm not sure how warm it'd be though, Al. Anyway, stay with us, and we'll come back to you a bit later on. These things are cool inside. So it's day 2 now, the next day. To be fair to Al, he did an absolutely phenomenal job. He got it, well, somewhere near to being completed. We did think that with the hotel having been cancelled for no reason at all, with no, well, real valid reason. I mean, this customer come this distance to have essential work. As you've seen in the video, the clutch was, well, just not operational. There was several other issues with it as well. So it was justifiable, and he's got to get to work. So Al thought he was going to have to stay behind and sort this out so that the customer could take it back the same day, but he didn't. The customer found a hotel, someone who was reasonable and willing. As long as we sent them a message and some videos of the damage to the car, they accepted it. So we've got that sorted. Al's nearly there, got the batteries to go back in, fluids to go in, and a few of the covers to go back on, and it's somewhere near. We're going to have a look at a couple of the oil leaks that surround this. I mean, the customer doesn't want us to address all of them, but that's their prerogative. Shame, unfortunate really, but we'll I don't know if we're going to be able to test this thing, to be quite honest, because there's that much snow outside that I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to test this up the road. I have no idea. Normally we'd take it for a kind of 25 to 40 mile round trip just to make sure, but it's so treacherous out there. I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to do that, or whether it's just going to be a case of taking it to the roundabout, bringing it back and hoping for the best, and letting the customer take it away. Not ideal, but we've got to make the best of a bad situation. So yeah, we'll probably leave you with some snow cinematics in a bit, but catch you in a bit when we, I don't know, maybe review this car, do whatever. But we're in a bit of a quandary at the minute, and Ben's been trying to get to work for the last 45 minutes, so stay tuned and see if Ben lands. So that's it, the first Volvo of the new year. Took it up the road for a bit of a test drive in this really crap weather, to be quite frank. Did 45 miles in it without issue. It's still got the oil leaks. The customer doesn't want us to address them. We have noted a load of things on the job card, in fairness. I'm not going to go through them on camera because it's not fair to the person, the owner. It's still a tidy place to be. It's a tidy, comfortable drive, in fairness. I mean, I'm going to get shot down for this, but it's a far more enjoyable place to be inside one of these in comfort than it is in a Focus. I'm not going to lie. But that may be me just getting old. I'm 40 after all. But if you haven't already, then please do consider subscribing to the channel, hit that bell icon to stay notified, and comment down below anything else you'd like to see. If you've got a Volvo, then get in touch. We can do this particular block mod and clutch package for any of the derivatives that have got the 2.5 litre engine. No problem at all. Stay safe and see you next time on the next video. Remember, we've got loads of Fiesta content coming through for you guys, along with your normal staple of being in this workshop.